The real picture of India-Pakistan trade, conflict, tariffs, and the truth of trade. Imagine a relationship that sometimes promises friendship and at other times gets entangled in threats of war. A border that's bustling with trade on one day and silenced by gunfire the next. That's how the relationship between India and Pakistan often plays out, where history, emotions, politics, and trade all intersect. But the real question is, when bullets are fired and rhetoric heats up, does business between the two nations come to a halt? Or is trade a thread that continues to tie them together, even in bitterness? The recent terrorist attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir, has made this question more relevant than ever. India has taken several strong actions against Pakistan in response, halting the Indus Waters Treaty, suspending visa issuance, and sealing the border. And now, trade between the two nations is directly in the line of fire. This isn't just an economic move, but a firm strategic message. Today, we'll dive deep into this topic. But before we begin, if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you are the first to receive updates on all our new videos. So, without further delay, let's begin today's discussion. Let me tell you, India's response to the attack has once again made it crystal clear: the fight against terrorism will no longer be limited to military or diplomatic actions alone. The battlefield now includes the economy. As part of this strategy, India halted visa issuance for Pakistani citizens, sealed the Attari-Wagha border, and suspended the Indus Waters Treaty. In retaliation, Pakistan closed its airspace to Indian aircraft on Thursday and shut down all ongoing trade between the two countries. This is yet another example of how, when relations soar, trade becomes the first casualty. But the story doesn't end here. The data behind the headlines reveals that even if trade volumes seem small, their impact echoes across all levels. So, the big question is, how much trade actually happens between India and Pakistan? And in which direction is it heading? Let's first talk about exports. Every year, India exports goods worth thousands of crores to Pakistan. In 2024, this figure crossed $1.21 billion, roughly 10,000 crore rupees, marking the highest level in the past 5 years. Compared to 2020, India's exports to Pakistan had surged by nearly 300%. In other words, when diplomacy fails, markets still find a way to speak. This growth came at a time when Pakistan was grappling with inflation and a dollar shortage, which led to an increased demand for essential goods, and India emerged as the cheapest and nearest supplier. But this relationship has never been so simple. In 2018, trade between India and Pakistan had reached its record high, around $2.35 billion. But then came the Pulwama terrorist attack in 2019, in which 40 Indian soldiers were martyred. In response, India imposed a 200% tariff on imports from Pakistan and revoked its most favored nation status. The impact was immediate. Pakistan's exports to India, which stood at $547 million in 2019, dropped drastically to just $4.8 million by 2024. Where once container trucks used to move back and forth, now empty trucks began returning. And this drop wasn't just reflected in trade figures, it directly affected the income of families who depended on cross-border trade for their livelihood. In 2019, when Article 370 was abrogated from Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan reacted angrily by announcing a complete suspension of all bilateral trade with India. But this decision, too, didn't last long. As inflation and supply crisis worsened in Pakistan, its government was forced to reconsider. Because the truth remains, politics may last for days or months, but people's needs are daily. And trade is a critical part of meeting those needs. Whether it's food items, medicines, or construction materials, no country can function without them for long. And Pakistan is a major example of this reality. Now, if we talk about what India exports to Pakistan, the list primarily includes biochemicals, pharmaceutical products, minerals, sugar, sweets, and processed food. On the other hand, Pakistan has traditionally exported salt, sulfur, lime, textiles, and cement to India. However, after India imposed a 200% tariff, the prices of Pakistani products became unfeasible in the Indian market. That's why today, Pakistan's exports to India are nearly non-existent. In fact, even in markets of Delhi, Punjab, and Rajasthan, Pakistani goods are rarely seen anymore. This has not only impacted small traders in Pakistan but also affected rural communities who depended on selling these goods for their livelihood. But this story isn't just about tariffs or taxes. It's about deep-rooted mistrust that has prevented two neighbors from becoming true trade partners. Pakistan has argued that it cannot continue trade when India adopts an aggressive stance on Jammu and Kashmir. Meanwhile, India maintains that as long as terrorism is used as a tool of state policy, meaningful trade cannot resume. Caught at this crossroads are the traders who have depended on cross-border commerce for decades. Areas like Amritsar, Jammu, Atari, and Lahore have seen livelihoods disappear due to stalled trade. These are people who neither understand politics nor diplomacy. They simply seek work and, above all, peace. And it's not just about the traders. Truck drivers, packing workers, market clerks, customs agents, tour guides, there's an entire ecosystem connected to India-Pakistan trade. Every time the border is shut, this entire ecosystem collapses all over again. And then, when relations slightly improve, a new hope arises that perhaps the gates will reopen. But each time, that hope is left incomplete. News of violence from Kashmir, fiery political rhetoric on international platforms, and harsh statements in the media keep inflicting fresh wounds on this fragile trading relationship. This raises a crucial question: does trade between India and Pakistan have any real future? The answer is far from simple. As long as diplomacy outweighs commerce, this relationship can never find stability. For India, Pakistan may be a small trading partner, but for Pakistan, India is a massive market. If relations normalize, Pakistan's struggling economy could find a lifeline, and India's northwestern states could gain access to new export routes. But such a future is only possible if both countries rise above their political agendas and start thinking about the welfare of ordinary citizens. That requires not just political will, but also a clear understanding that trade must be kept separate from diplomatic brinkmanship. Following the recent attack, trade has once again come to a halt. Airspace is closed, borders are sealed, diplomats have been expelled. Once again, political ties have frozen over. But if we look at history, this isn't the first time. And it may not be the last. Because as long as diplomacy stands taller than trade, every bullet fired will kill a business deal, and every hostile statement will cancel a potential agreement. This isn't just a story of two countries, it's a story of two mindsets. One believes in speaking through bullets, the other believes in building through bargains. The real question now is, who will win in the long run? The echo of gunfire or the sound of trade? Perhaps the answer lies in which voice the next generation chooses to listen to.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources news from various news agencies, opinion polls, and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.